All right, we're going to figure out what kind of train wreck this is going to be. Woo. New year, new me, Jim.
Oh yeah, what's new?
So I did set myself a resolution this year.
Did you really?
I did.
I love this.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm in.
Okay, so here's my resolution.
No more fucking pigs. What?
It's some.
Well, why are you fucking pigs in the first place?
I don't know, but ask him. It's his resolution.
No, my resolution this year is at some point I want to have that moment
fucker.
where somebody across the street sees me and recognizes me, and then a bus passes in front of me, and then I'm not standing there anymore.
Oh, I like that.
That's my.
I like that. I choose my resolution.
Getting ready to knife them. Like,
yeah.
I choose my resolution on December 31st. I look back at the year and be like, what haven't I done? And then I'm just like, that's my resolution.
Just going to try to be a bigger asshole than I was the year
Good
before.
for
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
You do you, though.
But you did have, you made a good point before. Kind of blinding flash of the obvious, but.
Yeah, so don't
There's your resolution.
go on a cross country trip in an RV with your kids, but not plan to stop anywhere and just drive 24 hours straight.
Fuck that.
Oh, so you
Because-
didn't see like the largest ball of twine? You didn't tell me that
No,
was
we
gonna
didn't do
happen?
anything like that. We went from San Antonio to California and just like I was just hopped up. I did meth for the first time. That was fun. But
He doesn't mean that.
I don't mean that. But kids did great on the RV. I did not.
Oh, really?
Because you rented like a drivable RV, right?
I did not I could do the 24 hours straight, but I did not think about like the 2 days afterwards where you're just
beat to hell.
on a zombie.
So were you the only driver?
Samantha drove a little bit. My wife drove a
And
little
you
bit.
didn't sleep at all when you were...
I slept 2 hours. I pulled into on a rest stop and like parked in between semis.
Yeah.
And just like passed out in the driver's seat for 2 hours and had alarm set. And I just like got up and was like, let's go. Pop that monster. Let's
So
do
we know what
this.
you did for the holiday.
Yeah.
Because we had a little bit of a publication break. There were some weeks there where we didn't, because it was, Christmas and New Year's and blah, 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 blah. But now we're back. So obviously for Christmas, you decided to drive
To California,
to
visit
California
family.
to
Yep.
visit family.
Which was great. Great to see everyone. Kids, like I said, did fantastic on the RV. They thought it was the greatest thing ever, which was really the purpose of it.
Well, I mean, at your kid's age, right? Like, it's like, this is a house that drives.
Yeah, like they're
that's-
small. Like this
yeah.
thing's huge. They played games at the kitchen table. They were able to go to the Pacific Ocean. We took them to like the beach. We spent like a little bit of time there and everything. They loved it.
Now, is that
Created some
their-
cool core memories.
Is that their first trip back?
It's the twins. Yeah,
Well, and I mean, that means Ben would have been
yeah. Like
at the point where he didn't remember
Yeah,
anything anyways.
Like 2.
So
yeah.
there's...
It's been like 3 years since it's been back.
That's good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was worth it. But I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah,
like that's just hard on me and Samantha. It's
What
just
about
too
you,
hard.
buddy?
I don't know. Got another horse.
Fucking great content.
Shot a lot of guns.
Good for you.
That was that was your holiday, bro.
I was with you Christmas night.
That's true. We had a good time.
I would have drank more, but I had to drive home.
Yeah.
It was good.
There was some good booze had that night. There
I
was
was
a lot of
bummed I
really
missed
quality
your-
bottles that got brought out.
I was bummed I missed your Christmas Days thing.
Yeah.
That
It was
was a
fun.
bummer.
A lot of which is kind of on topic. We are warhammered, but we had some decent drinks that night. That Green Spot Chardonnay barrel finish Irish whiskey was
Ooh, I like Green Spot. I'm a big fan of Green Spot.
So it was Green Spot, which is good anyways.
Yeah.
But it was Chardonnay, right? It was a Chardonnay barrel finish.
Yeah, it was,
or
it was a
Zinfandel finish.
Merlot or some shit.
It was a white wine.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember which. I think it was Chardonnay, but the
most likely
aging barrel.
Yeah,
So it's Green Spot aged in a Chardonnay barrel.
right.
And what it does is you still had all of that great Irish whiskey flavor, but then the finish on it was like super bright because of the wine.
Fun.
So yeah, it was
Beautiful.
it was really good.
I was able to drink a lot of good beer in California, though. That was fun.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, there was no beer head Christmas night. It was definitely all
I drank a lot of beer.
whiskey. Some interesting conversations that happened. I kept because like my dad was there, Steve Dixon was there, our kind of the core group of people was all there. Well, everybody that was in town.
Yeah.
And then
It was good.
It was good. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, we have the retail store, so we worked like literally up till the 23rd, and then we were closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then open on the 26th. So it was like, I mean,
was most of the mall here closed on Christmas Eve?
no, they were all open. It's just that we as a company, when I opened BattlePub, we picked all of our days that we were going to be closed.
Sure.
So we're closed on all the Patriot days. So like, we're closed on the 4th of July. We're closed on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We're closed on Thanksgiving, and we're closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
We do a half day on Election Day too. That's one of the ones that I made sure. Just go fucking vote.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but we're closed. We're closed on Christmas Eve because my whole thing is like you had 363 days to figure this the fuck out. Like I'm not going to make my people sit in here on Christmas Eve so that you can panic shop. Like, sorry,
it's good for you.
And but like the phone didn't ring or whatever. Like because we posted it everywhere. Like we are not open on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. I was actually really happy to see how many businesses weren't. There was a lot of businesses that were closed on Christmas Eve, and I love Christmas and the season that comes with it. But like my whole thing about Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and all that kind of stuff is like we've been doing the thing at my house for as long as I've known you, the Christmas evening kind of party, cocktail party, dinner thing at my house. For years now, and it's like the biggest thing I look forward to because it's all of my friends in one place, and
you got the nice decorations out. It's
and I decorate everything.
Yeah, it's very Charles Dickens.
It's a good time. And then
except it's like 70 degrees and
except for we spent most of it sitting on my patio smoking cigars.
It was it did get a little chilly, I guess, but it's just weird, man.
When the sun went down, it got a little cold.
With the weather here,
that was nice. Like being in the Northern California and everything, like it got cold.
Felt more like Christmas.
It felt more like Christmas.
Yeah,
and
it was a little bit like colder, overcast, that kind of thing.
The only bummer, I guess, to living as far south as we do is around the holiday season when you want it to feel like the holiday. It doesn't. Because it doesn't get cold here till like right now. It's like
now it's gonna like next week. It's gonna be miserable.
Next week it's gonna be in the 20s and great. Like it's gonna be really cold.
It's fine, but I work for the government and they're freaking out.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, I think now San Antonio is freaking out because they're remembering 21. And when we had that winter vortex thing that came through and we got the snowpocalypse
right now,
but it's just cold. There's no projected precipitation at all.
Which is, bundle up.
But it always gets holiday cold here, like into January and into February. Like that's we get like 2 weeks of like this fucking sucks. And then it turns into spring.
Yeah.
And the holiday season, it's a little tough. The rest of the year, though, I fucking love living here because it's always gorgeous.
Well, except for dead summer when it's 100 and fuck you.
It was Arizona hot in fucking July and August here.
This summer was
this year.
We talked about it on the show even while it was going on, and it was just like I'm dying.
We've got a lot of brutality to get to.
So we do. So
and I know you get some access to grind.
So this is Warhammered for 2024. We did break 1 year. The show's now over a year old. So
is it really?
It really is. Spotify actually gave me the notification that it's like, hey, you've been at it a year.
That's so fucking weird.
So we love all of you guys that have stuck with us for the whole time. Our number's still looking good, but we're looking for a big bad 2024.
Yeah, we're gonna pretend it's professional this year.
I'll go ahead and say it. If any of y'all out there have booze or game adjacent things that and you're looking to sponsor an up and coming podcast, we will take your money. So this is the Warhammered podcast brought to you by the award-winning Second Pitch Beer Company, as said on this beautiful sweatshirt.
New merch, bitches.
And by BattlePub.com and BattlePub Games. And we're happy here. Now, we do two things on this show. Mm-hmm. We discuss nerd stuff and a lot of Warhammer at a
way top level.
And we also do one other thing on this show. And for the first time in 2024, we are going to pour a little knowledge into that vessel that is your ear holes. Because we are about to discuss with the Maltese of Malt.
Maltese, I like that.
Yeah, there you go. The Sultan of Sipping. We're going to discuss those tasty beverages right here on Jim's Beer Corner.
Beer Corner.
What do you got for us today, buddy?
We have our seasonal. This is our winter seasonal. It's the cacao chocolate stout. So this is a dark beer that we used cocoa nibs on, and it's pretty good, I think. I'm happy with it. I got glasses.
Yeah.
We're not
this one's interesting this year. So we had it last year on draft, but this year you actually did a lactose-free version.
Yeah, we decided to do lactose-free. We just didn't like what the lactose did to it the last version. It made it too thick and heavy. And
I think a lot of people don't, like, they get told or whatever that's like they're lactose intolerant and never really go to see what lactose is.
Mm-hmm.
And
lactose is milk sugar.
Yeah.
It's an infermentable sugar. It's milk sugar.
And so it
Thank you, my friend.
But it will do funky things like outside of just being in milk. And so but it's apparent it's nowadays it's very easily removed. Like as I've gotten, I was not lactose intolerant when I was younger. As I've gotten older, my body doesn't like to process it.
Well, yeah, the less dairy you're eating, the less you're able to process.
Totally fine.
Need to process.
And so
Caitlin, if you want to do a worm crawl
Miss Producer,
over here.
if you want to come get your beverage. She actually has her own mic now, so
Is it
occasionally
working?
she's going to be able to chime in. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
tell us about it, buddy.
So this is just a very basic. You always, when you're making a specialty beer or something like that, and you're adding something to it, you start with your basic style, which is an American stout. We decided to go with. You're going to get a lot more of darker characteristics, being more of like an ashiness. You're going to get a little bit more sweetness to it, more of those darker burnt flavors in there, roast, toast. Those kind of things.
All those oast words.
All those oast words. And then, like we said, the big shiner in this is we use cacao nibs, which is the unprocessed chocolate. So you can actually buy those. And we put those in there on a second fermentation. And so you get a really rich, like almost like 85% cocoa kind of flavor to it.
I was say, if you've ever had really dark chocolate,
Really
like
dark
true
chocolate,
dark chocolate,
like baker's
it's
chocolate, that kind of stuff. Not the milk chocolate, which isn't even real chocolate really anymore.
It's less chocolate than it is sugar.
Than it is sugar. Yeah, it's just all sugar. But you're going to get a lot more of those incredibly deep dark chocolate.
Jim,
notes.
aren't you a big dark chocolate fan?
yeah, only because you can't get really good milk chocolate in the States.
That's true.
I've got a guy.
We're
going to start carrying it here.
Oh, our guy.
Yeah. It's going to be our guy now.
Yeah. He's a good the Swiss chocolate.
Swiss chocolate shop or whatever it's called.
He does some really
We're gonna
amazing
start carrying his stuff. And
don't ask. Do yourself a favor. Don't ask about like what he does, other things, because he'll just make you feel like a lazy piece of shit.
Oh no, yeah, no. He sat in here for like 2 hours, and he was showing him all these trips. He was like, "Well, this was when I was in Finland."
Yeah, he makes you like feel so like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna go. Sit on my couch. What
His
do you
wife
do?
too. They're both way too busy.
Yeah,
I was like, man,
he's one of those
Jesus.
people.
So, but really, really nice guy. And,
So
Good.
Yeah, we're doing this one, and then the next one coming out, because this is actually at the end of its run right now. You can still get it at the HEBs. It's available there, but we are going to be doing the ever-loving Admiral Stradling coming up.
So good.
This is really good, dude.
You like that?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, we
good.
found 2.
Whoa!
That's 2 beers that he
We
likes.
got more if you want some.
Eh,
Okay, not that much.
not
no,
that
I do.
good.
I like it. But I've got a Vegas trip coming up, so I'm trying to go.
What are you going to Vegas for?
Shot
A
show.
shot show.
A what show?
Shot show.
Shot show?
He's not actually going to Shot Show. He's
No,
going
we're going.
He's going
No, we're
Shot
go-
Show adjacent.
No, we're going
What
to
is Shot Show?
It's the
It's French, apparently.
no. It's the firearms industry trade show.
Oh,
It's
So
miles
that's
of
something I
guns.
don't
We're
wanna
going
go.
there. No, we're going.
Yeah, I know you got floor passes. I was told.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
It's
That's I stand out like a sore thumb
After
there.
the first hour,
it's
the same.
every
shit.
other trade show. It's like you've been to an industry show before. It's the same thing. It's cool for about an hour, and then you realize
You've seen
"Oh,
everything,
fuck,"
and then it's like, oh, I need to see another upper. Why is your upper different than that guy's upper?
because it says this on it instead of that.
Yeah.
This is the latest in
Yeah.
fucking whatever the two.
You
like,
also
they're-
find out with a bunch of those companies that it's like 3 companies that are actually making
Yeah.
all of it, and then it's just white labeled out to all these companies. so.
It's basically just capitalism on steroids.
the other
Everyone's
shit that's
trying
cool
to sell
though
you
is
shit.
the guys that make like bags and jackets and some of the other gear that you wouldn't normally get to see.
Hey,
It's
keep
kinda cool.
keep an eye out though. I'm looking for a new light, so see if there's anything cool coming in the light world.
Now for a pistol or for a rifle?
Both.
Both. Okay.
I just want to see if there's anybody actually, or if I'm just going to end up with another Surefire because they work.
Yeah.
I actually just won a free AR.
Well, there you go.
I went to a gun show last weekend, and on Sunday actually, and I got out of the store here. Got there at like 2:30, and at 3:00 they were doing a drawing, and they're like, scan that QR code, whatever. And I was like, okay, you just want me to sign up for your email list? But
Cool. Yeah.
sure, it'll let me know when the gun show's in town, and so I'll sign up.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
so I'm sitting there talking to this guy that was selling Strike Industry stuff, and they're like, all right, in 10, 9, or whatever, and then they went, and they said my name, and I was with my dad. My dad went, "No fucking way," and I was like, I never win anything. It's not me. They're like, "All right, we're calling your phone right now," and
just.
I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
I won.
So I went over there and filled out the background, and it's
what kind of AR?
It's a 16-inch carbine from Coastal Arms out of Dallas, and it's a chick that runs it, and she's milling everything in-house. It's all of her own CNC equipment, her own engineering, her own everything.
You got a bougie gun.
And so it's matched upper and lower. They have to go together so that it's not the universal pin system. Like it still breaks down like an AR, but like that upper and that lower have to go together.
Yeah.
It's like LaRue or SIG or any of those ARs.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually sitting over there.
Cool.
But
let's go shoot some cats.
It's nice. The upper, the lower, the handguard, and everything are all really solid. The rest of it won't stay on the weapon. It'll all get ripped out. Like
really?
The trigger group and the bolt carrier group, the stock. Like I'll gut it and turn it into what I like.
Good for you.
Because
you can.
I've just become a trigger snob as I've gotten older. It's like it's no longer just. It goes bang, and I'm like, yeah,
like a free gun.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that it was.
It's like once you get over 35, you have to decide if you're going to get really into
Smoked
like
meats
three
or World War II.
Yeah. Smoked meats, World War IIs, or guns. Which one are you choosing? You got to choose one.
And but yeah, I won a free.
Good for you.
A free rifle because I needed another AR.
Good. So there's more room for ARs.
Yeah, but it's nice. We'll see what I do with it.
Jim, besides beer, I know you have an axe to grind.
About which one? What are we at? What are we axes?
There's some Warhammer pop culture stuff that's going out right now.
Let's do the Warhammer stuff, and then we'll end it with my grinding.
Well, we're going to end up talking about that. So, and the reason I say it's a Warhammer pop culture is there is a movie out on Netflix that came out in December, and we just haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Right.
That I think we have now all watched.
Yes.
Called Rebel Moon.
Mm-hmm. Part 1.
Part 1. The next one comes out in April. It's a Warhammer movie. There's no way to slice it. That is a planet that has lost contact with the Imperium, and the Imperial Guard finally shows up and
kinda,
yeah.
And it's. I mean, the robot guy was from the Mechanicum Militarum, and they were members of the Imperium. Like,
I don't know how they got away with half the shit that they did.
Yeah.
And this started out life, Zack Snyder. This started out life as a Star Wars movie.
So that's the story I was gonna. Yeah. I didn't tell you beforehand. So Rebel Moon is done by Zack Snyder.
Right.
Now the story.
Not a big fan of Zack Snyder too.
The story as I know it is Zack Snyder was originally going to do a trilogy for Disney, for Star Wars. And so like 10 years ago or whatever, before they did the sequel trilogy, he put together a treatment. Not a script, but a treatment for these Star Wars films.
What's the difference between a script and a treatment?
So think of it as like you know, when we were in high school and they taught us how to write an essay and they were like, don't write the essay, write an outline and then fill the outline in with the rest of the essay. That's what a treatment is. A treatment kind of is here's kind of the beats, here's the backstory, here's kind of the concept of
world building, get you a good idea.
The big story and not all of, doesn't have dialogue and stuff in it. It's just kind of this is how it would work. That's a treatment. Mm-hmm. It's a concept essentially. So, well, in the movie world, when you do something like a treatment, a studio options it. Mm-hmm. And so they'll put like a 10-year option on it. And they'll pay for it and they get a 10-year option on it. Well, if they don't re-up the option or take action on it, then it defaults back to the person that wrote the treatment. So it defaulted back to Zack Snyder after the timeline left. But this was supposed to be his Star Wars trilogy.
Got it. Okay.
And they just didn't go anywhere with it.
And they didn't go anywhere with it because this was, again, it goes back to Kathleen Kennedy and...
We've gone over that, yeah.
She's the one that didn't make it actionable and all that kind of stuff. And now Filoni's involved, and Filoni's not going to let anybody write story that he didn't greenlight. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, if you've watched the movie, for cinema Star Wars, it's dark.
Yeah.
Like it is a very dark story compared to Star Wars.
It would have been a dark, I mean, if that's the way they go. I mean, especially with Lucasfilm and those guys have such input into those things anyway, so who knows. But you've got Star Wars theme-ish. Mm-hmm. You've got the Seven Samurai. You've got the Magnificent Seven or Guns of the Magnificent Seven. You've got this whole mashup of shit, and then they go and take some Warhammer shit and fucking sprinkle that all over.
So the way I've been describing it to people that haven't watched it is it's Imperial Guard, Warhammer 40K, and like John Carter had a baby. And we went and actually found a list of his inspirations for what he used for it. And it was literally the first one that he listed was Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, Seventh Samurai, and John Carter were actually like...
Those are the things.
That's what he was like, this is what I pulled. And yeah, I can see all of it in the film. I personally really fucking enjoyed it.
Let's go, because I'm like torn.
I love the world building. I love that kind of stuff and everything. My problem was in like every character they talk about or they introduce, they're like, this guy is like the greatest person ever, and he's gonna do some great.
Okay,
but then they tell you how great he is, and he doesn't do anything. Like the fucking general.
That's the best example.
Yeah, the best example is like he is the greatest general ever to ever general the generals.
Nothing,
and then all of a sudden he doesn't say a word.
Okay, I get.
And
like
they give him a
bath,
bath.
and they got to bring it.
They give him a bath, and he gets a haircut, and that's it.
Like I'm expecting this guy to be like, all right, I'm in charge now. You guys got me back on my feet. All right, this is what we're gonna do. No, fucking does nothing. Girl boss, she's still kicking it. Don't even get me started. And then the one character, the one fucking guy that you're like, Charlie Hunnam's character gets fucking murdered.
Yeah. I'm like, I loved that little spoiler alert. I love that, the twist on him where he was actually a bad guy, you know, like that was great. Awesome. Everything else. But it was a ton of telling me how great these people are and no showing me how great these people are. And apparently
now we're going to get,
but you're going to see it in part 2.
You're going to see
I know you're going to probably see it in part 2.
Was all the,
and there's
we have to introduce you to
it was so much
everybody.
like, it was so much of like this guy is like, and apparently like the group that they assemble is just like, apparently one guy's really good with like birds. And then there is,
the prince.
Yeah. The prince, like, he's like, he's a prince. Prince of fucking what? Why is he a prince? Why do I care?
Well, he's like the last surviving one of his race because the Imperium
so we have the
wipes
last
his whole fucking...
throw that fucking thing in there too, right?
Yeah. And then it's like...
he's the John Carter character.
Yeah, they find these people, but then it's like...
He's the John Carter of
But
Mars
I'm watching
character.
this and I'm just like, all right, suspension of disbelief. Like, okay, I would have loved if they would have given a little bit more like showing these people being amazing.
I wanted the bird to jump on the fucking...
Yeah.
The fucking spaceship. No, it just stays there, really?
Yeah, and then but there's a lot of telling me about how great these people are, showing me of what these guys are, and then it's a lot of like, well, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, but also it's like, okay, these people you find out towards like the end of the movie are like super wanted. Like every one of them is like super wanted. And this lady just finds him in like 15 minutes. And apparently the Imperium's been hunting him for generations and shit like that. And it's like
the general's like this wanted guy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, like he's just sitting on the street.
Everybody knows he fights in this like freaking thing.
Everybody knows. It's like, where's the general? He's over there. Like really, everyone he's going by his regular name.
No, and not just, like with guards.
He's not even like
fucking wasted on the side of the fucking road.
Like, how did you not fucking find this guy?
Yeah.
Like, and then the other guys, like, how did you not fucking find this guy? Like, they're all just hanging out, doing nothing, and just waiting to be found so they can go on this quest. And I'm just like, so this Imperium that has endless resources couldn't find their top general for 10 years.
Rogue,
But this lady found him in like 15 minutes by talking to some sketchy dude, and he was like incognito because he was having dreadlocks and he was drunk. I'm just like, I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't know. Like, come on, give me some more of this.
Well, also allegedly too, there's like the Zack Snyder cut of this too. So you get an hour more, which is going to come out a week or two before.
But do you see my problem with it? Where I'm watching this thing and I'm just I'm like, these guys.
I had the same problem.
Yeah, I'm like, I get what you're doing. I get that it's a longer movie, and maybe that's just a problem with Zack Snyder. It's like everything Zack Snyder puts out, it's like, oh, it would have been. Wait till you see my cut of it. And it's like, why would we just see the fucking cut that we have in front of you?
Because I knew this was going to be a 3-part movie, essentially.
Oh, I knew that it was going to be 3-part as well, but I'm waiting for like.
Right, but I know I needed to meet all of the characters.
Yeah.
And honestly, they need to lose. It needs to not go the way they want it to go.
Right. And I get that.
And it doesn't. Like they absolutely get fucked in the end. Like the army that they thought they were going to get, they don't get. The guy that leads it dies.
Yeah.
That like,
and then, but it's like,
then she thinks she beats Homeboy, and it's like,
nah, he's back.
Nah, he's back.
He's okay. And then the other part is like they're all fighting for this like one world, and it's like
not
the world
village.
The village.
Just a village.
It's just a fucking village. It's just a village in this one world.
Why are they taking horses to the village when there's a fucking space fucking
yes,
yeah, this
and it's like
Tatooine fucking whatever the fuck is sitting there.
Let's put this in Warhammer terms, okay? If Warhammer, like, if the Imperium like finds their planet and was like, hey guys, you need to pay your tithes. You know, they don't just send like a guard unit out there to do things. Like, it's like everyone knows where this place is now. You can't just rebel and then like the Imperium's going to be like, that one world, they gave us a good fight. We're going to let them go for a little bit.
I think we're supposed to assume that the Imperium at this point is falling apart. Like, it's not as...
So that wasn't told as enough as well.
It sort of is, but it's only kind of hinted at. So we find out that like there was the king and the queen.
Right, and the princess.
And they were loved.
And then the princess starts getting like mashed in this, who has like superpowers apparently.
Well, she's not dead. She's coming back.
She's not dead.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, what
apparently
the fuck is going on in
apparently
this
the king
movie?
and the queen were supposed to have, and were like apparently really loved. Like it was like everybody loved this, and then they get assassinated.
Yeah.
And then a despot fills the power void.
Yeah. Who has terrible fake facial hair.
Yes. I will give you that. The beard was awful.
Yeah.
But I think it's only in subtext, but what you have to pick up on is the reason that after the king dies, all of a sudden you had rebelling generals and house
but
guards
it seems
that
like they were
leave
doing horrible shit while the king was still alive.
Yeah, the king was okay with horrible shit.
Like they're not the great. It's like it's the empire. Right.
And it's supposed to at this point.
She was the one. The daughter was the one that was going to kind of like bring everybody back.
He was supposed to be. It was warfare for unification, so it's just a unification war. And now the daughter is supposed to have been this. I
will send them Fade.
This myth.
Fade Rafa.
Yeah, but there was supposed to be this myth. This whatever, and she's supposed to be that myth. This.
And everybody will love her.
Whatever. And everybody will love her. And that'll bring peace to everything. And that was, but then the king gets killed, gets murdered.
Yeah.
And then the girl's gone. The king and queen are murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And so this general steps in to try and control everything.
It continues the murdery.
And that's when the general rebels.
Yeah.
His adopted daughter, that was also the house guard, it worked her way up to the point where she was the personal protector of the princess and stuff. She fucking dips.
Yeah.
And then you have all these rebelling worlds and stuff. So when the king dies, the Imperium is falling apart.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be what's going on. So which is also very Warhammery because he unifies everything. And then you have the Age of Darkness where all these planets get lost.
Yeah.
And then they have to go out and re-find everything and bring everything back into compliance.
And I get that, but it just didn't make sense. Like, it also didn't make sense that these fucking badass on a galactic scale badasses, like that's what these people are. Like the general, the lady, I forget what her name is. Like all of these, the 7 samurais that they collect are all galactically badass. And she's like, I got a village of like 45 guys that really need your help, and they're like,
But you
100% in.
Yeah, like, we're not going to fight an insurgency against the empire. We're just going to go to this fucking grain refinery
that is like an outpost and just be like, this place is ours.
And then the empire that's got dudes, they'd just be like, all right, smoke everybody. And guess what? You guys are going to be fucking harvesting the grain. Fuck off. That's what you're doing for the next 2 weeks. Like, get on with it. Take a vacation. We'll be back in 3 weeks. Have this shit ready to go. We got shit to do. Like, why are we?
But there's no forethought in the next step. Like, okay, yeah, you fought off this thing.
Because the idea is not bad. Like 7 Samurai in space, sure. Fucking Guns of Magnificent 7 in space. But cool.
The next step, and maybe that goes into movie 2, but the next step isn't there, where it's like, I'm like watching this lady like formulate this plan and be like, you haven't thought like what like day 2 is after this rebellion.
Like the trailers, like get every gun in the village. Oh, really? They have tanks.
Yeah.
Hover tanks.
Yeah. It's
well,
like,
they also flew there on a dreadnought.
Yeah. And they flew there on a world killing dreadnought.
Yes.
And if it's like, and honestly, if this guy was like, well, this village fucking sucks, just point a big ass gun at it. It's gone. It's like, all right, bye.
Orbital bombardment.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
And I think that's what we're supposed to be picking up on. They just weren't great at explaining how little asset there is with the Imperium at this point.
And if they explain that better, where it's like shit is like,
well, because that's
all we have.
They need all of these farms to give them food, because they're having to stop at every little planet while they're on patrol to re-up because they don't have the resources.
Then you know what?
So they're having
Stop trying to kill the fucking people.
Yeah.
But that's supposed
nice.
Right, but that's supposed to be reinforcing the fact that this new regime is this despotic regime.
I understand it. I really don't think Mr. Snyder did a very good job of explaining his world. And maybe if the Snyder cut that is 5 hours long comes out, and it'll be better explained.
That's why I enjoyed it so much, because movies, in my opinion, lately, movies have been so spoon-feedy. It's been... You don't need to pick up on shit.
You don't need a lot, but if you give me a line here or there, what the fuck? I'm trying to think of what my wife and I were just watching. But the two brothers, it was kind of a lower budget movie. It was really good though. But the two brothers one was Marsoc, one was a recon guy, and they go and rob a bank. Okay, that was the premise of the movie, right? But the cops are trying to figure out these guys. Like they took down this bank and they did it in a methodical way. And the cops are like, whatever. They just simply were like, hey, we have I'm looking at their jacket right now because FBI, so they get their military jacket. They don't even say they're MARSOC or Force Recon. You see the brothers' recon wings. You see the other brother's got his MARSOC fucking wings on the thing. That's all you need to explain. In their blues, everything looked good. And you're like, okay, yeah, they're fucking special operators.
Yeah.
That was all they had to do. Little things like that. How about, hey, the Imperium's having a hard time resupplying themselves. Hey, a guy could be in the background being like, hey, we're low on supplies, fucking blah, blah. And you're like, okay, now I get it.
But he says that.
Even, but they could even do something where it's
literally like the first scene of the movie when they show up and are talking to him and they're like, we don't have food.
Yeah.
So you need to do your duty to the Imperium to feed us.
They could do more to show that the Imperium's going down. Like maybe just having like one guy's gun looks like shit and like misfires when they try to fire it.
Well,
and they'd be like, oh, I don't.
They also show that there's zero discipline.
Yeah.
Because they leave that.
They're all rapey.
They leave that thing and every single one of them, except for one dude, is just a piece of shit. And it was like, so there's zero discipline. There's zero anything.
Yeah.
And then they're showing the flashback scenes of the old Imperium when they're fighting that the chick was a member of and became that officer for.
Yeah.
And like, they're all moving and shooting and communicating. Like it's super disciplined. Everything's formation. And then you have these guys that show up and the armor they're in is dusty and old and their pouches are all worn out. And so all of those little context clues that you're talking about, they're there. Like the Mechanicum dude that apparently used to be like the robot.
Yeah, badass.
Yeah,
apparently there was like legions of those fucking things. And then when the princess disappears, they all just went,
stopped.
we're fucking done.
Yeah.
And they all quit. Well,
and then they start making headdresses.
But when you're world building, instead of like in our world with this movie, where you don't need a whole bunch of shit, in a world building scenario in sci-fi, you need a little bit more.
Yes.
Even if it's a voiceover or a crawl or like
the one that actually the only stuff that really bothered me was, now Snyder is also a very, very visual director. This is the same guy that did 300.
And it was really, really good visually.
Yeah,
I'm going to give
that. 300. Like he's all about just creating these giant cinematic images. And he definitely, this movie has that in spades.
Yeah.
Like it's,
I have no qualms with like costume, beautiful, sets, beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah, the 300 though, it's a shot-for-shot reproduction of a graphic novel written by
by Frank Miller.
Yeah, by Frank, but complete.
And
all you had to do is just film that.
But
this is his
there's
shit.
stuff in this that honestly, I picked up all the context of the story. That wasn't the problem. There was artifacts in the film though that aren't discussed enough for me. Mm-hmm. And that's actually what bugged me.
Such as,
so she says like, okay, we have to fight. I'm going to go find the people to fight this. And it's not really, in my opinion, this isn't setting up to defend the village. This is that village is just the rally point for everybody to stand up against the Imperium.
Yeah.
Her pistol.
What is it? Why is it so
They
badass?
show that pistol. It's incredibly ornate. And I think we're supposed to pick up on that, like, she was this officer and like the adopted child of their Uber general and whatever. But it's like, I feel like something like that.
If you flash that to like a squad of people, they're gonna be like, holy shit!
Like
I have never seen that. I've
in
only
that
heard
bar,
of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like where they're in that, and she pulls that thing out.
She pulls it out way too much.
Like, well, she pulls that gun out. You would think that everybody else in that bar just went, oh fuck! It's not like they're handing that thing out,
right?
And it's like I would have liked a little bit more backstory on some of the artifacts.
Yeah, and it's also like she does this stuff like when she's fighting that squad, she uses that gun, right? Yeah. And it's like if you pull that piece out, it's like I feel like it felt like there was a reverence to it that this Zack Snyder was trying to make for it. Like this is a
right, and that's what I mean is that why didn't they
and
So
no one reacted
that
to
they
it.
didn't cover.
Yeah,
and I would have
they-
liked some more. So there's things like that.
And that would have helped
the
made her like,
story
oh,
was
this
there.
is somebody.
Right. And the story was there.
When you're a bodyguard, you get one of these.
And again, it's a
That's what
context
she
thing. Like
was.
maybe that is you. Like if you're not part of the royal family's guard or you weren't in command or whatever, you don't get this.
But
Like
but
this
these,
is this mastercraft weapon.
these guys have these like you're in a culture of like, let's say we're just calling them the guard because that's what we have.
That's what they are.
That's what they are. You're in the culture of the guard that you know of things that are out there that you don't see, but you know they exist. And if you see one of those, immediately everybody kind of puckers and just like, holy shit,
who are you?
Who are you? You're not supposed to have that.
Yeah.
And,
Either you
and everybody
stole
kind of
that-
takes a beat.
Yeah. Either you stole that or you are so much better than me
And,
that I
and
shouldn't
when
be
she
in this
pulls
fight.
that thing out, nobody bats an eye. There's like, oh,
And-
this should just fucking.
Now, at the same time, that same gunfight, it is so amazingly well done. And
Very
some
much
of the
so.
stuff that they trained her for, that stuff where like she takes a knee to fire the pistol and actually runs her arm in front of herself and then braces her arm on that arm to stabilize the shot, or that shoulder brace that she does when she brings it up and to get her shots more stable and time things out.
Oh,
Whoever
so that's really well done. Yeah.
whoever designed all of that shot choreography,
Right.
they actually were like, hey, let's look at how you'd actually fight with a
That
pistol
stuff
in this
was
environment.
fantastic. Yeah.
And it does it right. And you can tell at that point her skill difference between what she's fighting and the context of that. You go like, I understand why you have that pistol, but I want to know about the pistol.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
and then
but then there was other artifacts that didn't bother me, like the swordsman and her power swords.
yeah.
Okay. Sure. I don't really need to know where those are from. Those don't.
Like the general's dreadlocks. Like, where'd those come from?
Yeah, those don't, like the power sword thing didn't bother me. But there was stuff like all of the engraving on the mechanical dude is the same style engraving that's on that gun.
Right. And
These
no
are
one picks up on it.
obviously,
Yeah.
this is obviously from this imperial manufacturing of doing things at that level.
But
And we're going to get more of that.
you may
movie
even get
too.
it's a
in the-
3-second
the-
in that movie. If Zach spent 3 seconds making those things that's a tiny bit more important,
Yeah.
that would confuse us to as a viewer. Like,
We'll see what
this
the cut-
is something
the other cut
crazy.
comes out with.
This
Now,
is something. This
I
is
think
a
we're
mark.
going to get more into, especially in the trailer for part 2, where they show the mechanical dude.
Yeah, doing stuff.
And he's at this point kind of gone like, okay, I have a reason to fight. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. And he's obviously kind of invincible because they put how many of those fucking
Rounds into
las
him.
rounds into him, and he just kind of like falls in the mud, like
And dusts himself up. So I'm fine.
It doesn't even like leave a
I'm
dent.
fine. I'm fine.
They also haven't said whether or not that is strictly a robot, or if that is like Warhammer style Mechanicum, where that is just
A brain
that is
somewhere.
physical augmentation to the point where there's no flesh left.
Yeah.
like it's just a brain inside
or
that
if it's AI
body.
or what. Yeah.
You may get that if it's
And I'm hoping part 2 kind of I like that they left his background a little mysterious. He's obviously powerful as shit, but
Likes headdresses. Really into
into headdresses.
Really into headdresses.
But he does
loves.
because he fires that one shot to save her, to save the girl that he says reminded her of the princess. He fires that one shot with the gun like sideways, holding out in front of him.
Just like
pow, like so that was like. That was one of those really subtle, like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
that dude's dangerous. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather have it's still better that the movie's out there
Yes.
compared to some of the shit that
Yes.
that's
Yes.
I like that it's original, even if it is inspired by
100%.
a bunch of, but it's inspired by so many IPs that I really like that it was just like, I'll take more of this. Thanks.
And it also, we kind of talked about it briefly, is that this is a great test film that a Warhammer 40K movie can work.
Right. We talked about that before. Before the show and stuff like that. We were talking about like, if this is nothing more than I'm going to get 3 of these over the next year, or whatever. I get this one and then get one in April, and I think there's supposed to be a third one
maybe another Christmas time
later in the year, and then
Yeah.
we're getting the extendeds and stuff like that.
And then the black and white version.
And then then I get the score only, no dialogue
Right.
version. And
Nope, that's a good one. Yeah. And then
which is if I can do this, then I get Sharp's rifles in space, which is God's ghosts, and
Right.
I'll be fucking happy.
And but I do think that this is proof of concept of like, okay, you could give me a Warhammer universe and it's not campy as fuck.
Yep.
Yep. And we talked about it before with and now that it's actually moving into production, they've gone to the actual production contract with Amazon, and they're saying 2 to 3 years before we'll see the first piece of media. These are, in my opinion, are good proof of concept. It's also probably why this thing came out and Netflix was like, yeah, let's fucking do it and let's hammer this home.
Yeah.
Because there's there's actual Warhammer content coming. So
everyone
let's get
sees it
these
on the
out there
horizon
and make what we can.
Well, everybody's scrambling. I mean, you got a second season of Halo that's getting ready to drop.
And so it's, I do think it says it's promising things. If Amazon actually does stay out of Cavill's way and actually lets him,
I think he's going to make them.
Well, they made him give him the EP title. Like he's the executive producer of the entire Warhammer cinematic universe. So that means
Are we calling it a universe now?
Yeah, that was in the article. It's the Warhammer cinematic universe. Yeah. Because it's going to be shows and movies. We're getting multiple things. And they've made him the EP of the whole thing. So he is essentially the Filoni for Warhammer.
Better.
Good pull in my opinion. Because he's able to call Dan and go like, Mr. Abnett, how would this person do this? Abnett, he's the creative director.
He can write.
Yeah, he's the narrative.
Like he can write dialogue.
What's his title for narrative director?
Dude,
he's got a title for
he's
Warhammer.
Kind of like the fucking.
He's Filoni. He runs the universe.
He's the content and lore guy. Like
he's the key holder.
Yeah,
he's the key
I think he's the narrative director. Or something. His job is
like a bunch of
essentially
those guys at Lucasfilm that kind of try to keep the canon straight, kind of thing.
And because everybody in the Warhammer, like if you write a novel for Warhammer,
you got to take it to Dan.
They're like Dan has to greenlight it to say like, this fits.
Yeah.
And it's Filoni's position at Disney now. Yeah. Filoni is now the creative director for the Star Wars universe. So if we get that, but if you haven't watched Rebel Moon,
watch it. It's worth it. Yes.
Go watch it. It's very good.
I'm like, we're nitpicking right now. I'm nitpicking. I am.
There's some stuff that bothered me just because I want to know more. And I will probably get my questions answered in these next ones. Because I could tell watching this thing that it was like, I have so much you need to know before I can do the rest of the story.
Well, that's why he wanted to do
that. It was drinking
comic books.
It was like drinking through a fire hose. It was. Because it was, there was a new character like every 15 minutes.
And you don't get much out of it, know?
And I don't think we're going to until the second one because they had to do all of that and then sort of climax this film and unify that team and finally make the grain counter guy useful.
Yeah, I hated him.
Fuck
Why
me.
didn't he just die?
The whole thing, even while we were watching the movie, and I was like, this guy is useless.
He's a fucking farmer.
Yeah, he's just a grain counter.
Yeah, he's a farmer who fucked up. Like he got too big for his britches. Like that's what he did.
And then I do like that he just puts that bolt right through that dude's head, and he's like, "You son of a bitch!"
Like now you're catching on. Like,
and I was like, "Yep, there it is." Like that's. I enjoyed how brutal it was because that film was. They pulled no punches, and they let you see it too. They were like, "Nope," and the Imperium guys were fucking creepy. Like Homeboy with that weird.
Oh, very
tentacle massage,
very Nazi
thing. No, his weird little tentacle massage monster that he had in his. And his thing on his.
No one's batting an eye at that thing. I'm just like, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. You don't.
And his aide de camp or whatever is in there, just like
hey, so,
watching him.
What do you want for
and
dinner?
He's got all those little suction cup scars on him and shit. I was like, what the
fucking?
You're a weird dude. Well, I mean, let's face it, man. The IG is entirely based on the Reich and the Russians. I mean, even in Warhammer, their command units are called commissars. Like,
no, we know what they are.
Yeah, that's so big.
I mean,
fans.
I really enjoyed like the admiral or whatever. His whole kind of creepy and like
you hate him. You fucking hate him.
Yeah, his interaction with the people there, like pulling information. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you can, you don't have enough? Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. And then he starts asking questions like, oh, no, this guy knows a lot more than he's letting on.
You know what it gave me? It gave me a lot of the same feelings of...
it's like, you fucking idiots. Why did you try to play this guy?
Christoph Schultz?
Yeah.
In Inglourious Bastards, when he shows up and he's all like, can I please have another glass of your delicious milk? And then he's like...
And where
you're hiding enemies of the state under the floor.
Well,
and it's like,
I assume that they aren't playing they can speak English
if
either.
you want another fucking Waltz fucking craziness, The Consultant.
That's what it is, Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Yeah, on I think it's Netflix, The Consultant.
Yeah.
It's another creepy
Christoph Waltz.
fucking TV show. It's fucking phenomenal.
I like Christoph Waltz a lot. But
and then we got a lot of
but it was a lot of that.
A lot of shit coming out.
That character in the beginning when you come in, you're like, oh, the Imperium's not that bad. Like they're just
want some grain
here to do their thing or whatever, and then it's like, oh, you just beat that man to death with a femur. That's okay. That's a
yeah.
That golden femur he's walking around with. What was that? his like shillelagh that he's walking around with. It was like a cane, but it looked like a bone.
Yeah. I had no idea. And so that's like another piece of artifact where it's like, what is this?
Well, and then there's a flashback scene where you see the king with it. Like he's got the stick. And then all of a sudden this commander has it. It's like, is that a command stick? Is that like the swagger
talking stick? It's a talking stick.
Well, he's like the chosen of the top commander.
Well, the army had the army back in the day. We used to have swagger sticks. Just that little. It was like a command baton. Yeah, we called them swagger sticks.
Were big in
and
poke people with it.
The army had them for a while, and I think it's supposed to kind of be
a symbol of authority.
Like it's like a command baton, but
a symbol of authority.
Apparently, you can also just beat wholesale ass with it because he does work with it.
Shit.
Yeah. And it looks like it hurts too. Like
I would not like to fight that guy with that.
Fun.
I think I would definitely go with like the monocle and swagger stick.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. If I was going to be evil.
Open top Mercedes Benz.
Oh yeah,
leather trench coat.
You're getting a little carried away there, bud. I'm playing a board game.
Calm it down, strange love.
On the same Nerd Factor, I'm playing a board game beginning of February. We had to schedule this thing. It's called War Room, and it takes like 10 hours to play this board game. And we're playing with 6 players, and each one of us is representing a country, and the map is huge. It's this huge round map, and you play. There's 3 Axis countries, 3 allied countries, and you're like, and it's like really complicated Risk.
Yeah.
But I love Risk.
But we're actually playing it and we've all ordered like fucking stupid hats for like the countries that we represent. And the game comes with the push sticks to move your pieces around and shit. It comes with the game. And so, we're all going to sit there and...
So we are going behind the river. We're taking the river.
And you move everything around on the map with this huge push stick. And then you're like... There's all of this like intrigue stuff that you have to... And then you have to write down orders and like stash them away for orders that are going to be done later. And
I like it.
Yeah, that's... But it's called War Room if anybody wants to look up this game. But it's like an hour and a half or 2 hours per player to play.
Jesus. So a turn is 2 hours?
No. Like that's how much time you have to account for. So like if you have 6 people and you kind of know what you're doing, it's about an hour and a half per person.
So it's 10 hours
to play the game. So it's 10 hours to be able to play this
Are
game.
You going to have those like parachute kind of pants? Like
not playing a 10-hour fucking board game. No, I'm going to have the hat and then I'm going to probably be in like joggers and a t-shirt because I'm like, I don't
got to embrace it.
Yeah.
Like an eye patch.
I want to find a swagger stick.
Yeah, you can get those.
And
an eye patch
or like a writing crop that I can just like
just now they need to be here.
Yeah, because who did I get? I'm playing. I got Japan.
You got Japan.
I got Japan. Yeah,
they're big on the monocles.
I got tiny glasses too. Little tiny glasses.
Yeah, little tiny glasses.
I got Japan, but I don't think they didn't do the baton thing.
There was one. There had been one.
I do have a samurai sword, though.
Samurai sword.
Yeah, do you want to give to my son?
I have an extra for him.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I'm giving his 5-year-old a sword.
Yeah.
Because
he found my sword. The one that I had. He was like going in he was in our room. It was like in the morning. And like he was like climbing up bed, like getting us woken up and everything. And all of a sudden he like was climbing on the bed and he just like stopped. And I was just like, what happened? And he's like turned his head slowly and saw like the sword that I brought to Ren Fair, like off in the corner. And he was like, Daddy, is that a sword? And I was just like, oh, yeah, buddy, it's a sword. Next question out of his mouth was, who have you used it on?
Well, there you go.
Like that was his next question. I was like, nobody, buddy. I've not used the sword. And he was like,
yet.
All right. Like, whatever you want to do, Bo.
That's fucking very disappointing, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those things.
Those are rookie numbers, Dad.
That's rookie numbers, Dad. You need to use that
Somebody
sword.
needs to break in here, and then we need to friggin' impale them.
It's like, you looked at me like, if I had a sword, I would be using it constantly.
Apparently.
But yeah, I just wasn't, Rebel Moon, I think it's going to be really fun. I'm going to definitely watch all 3 of them, but I'm not happy. I wasn't happy about how the story kind of played out a little bit.
Cavill's going to be busy, man. He's got Highlander. That's back on now.
Highlander.
Yeah, so that's back on. It was off during COVID. That's back on now. That's his next movie, so that's the next thing.
He's doing Highlander.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of swords.
Clan MacLeod. He's the only one that's been cast so far, so I don't know who you're getting for...
Bringing Sean Connery out of retirement.
Well, he's dead, so...
Is he really? Yeah. Sean Connery's
We're not going to get... Yes.
Dude, he died
a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that.
This last movie was like, yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, go watch. Honestly, we do a lot of
CGI
lore
him.
coverage and stuff on this. If you kind of want to see kind of how the Imperial Guard, Imperial command structure and stuff kind of works, just on a lore coverage, go watch Rebel Moon and just kind of watch what the Imperial Army, how they operate. That's the Guard. That is very much just how the Guard fucking works.
Yeah.
Right down to the whole like, you didn't perform well.
Yes, I do not handle disappointment.
Their counseling statements are a little more aggressive than some paperwork.
I guess it just like some of the units you can't afford to fucking be cacking people.
Yeah.
No, but the line guys, man, fucking, they got a bajillion of them.
Those guys.
And they're always fucking running out of them. I'm reading fucking Cadia Falls right now. They could use a couple of those guys.
Those are Cadians. Those guys love to die.
Yeah, that's all they do.
They do a lot of it.
It's like Sisters of Battle, Cadians. Like those are the favorite.
Yeah, they love to die.
They love to die.
Fucking Black Templars. Nobody's buying. Like this guy can't get anybody to do a goddamn thing for anybody.
Yeah.
Except the Raven Guard. The Raven Guard are the only ones on board. Everybody else is kind of.
It was a good book. Are you reading right now?
Yeah, it's kind of a long slog, only because you know how it ends.
Yeah.
Like how, I mean.
Oh, you need to read that book because fucking the Infinite is in it and he's fucking hilarious.
Oh, the Necron guy?
Yeah, Trazen.
He's great. He's like
fucking funny.
I have to get involved. I don't really want to
get involved, but they're about to kill that guy and he's a really good specimen.
Yeah.
And it's really funny.
Well, we know that like in his collection is one of the, is like like a freeze frame, like a time bubble that he just pulled like from the Battle of Cadia, and he was just like, I'll just keep this, and he just like, that's in his vaults.
So have you gotten to the parts where like that like from the lore and everything, Belisarius Crawl and him talk?
Oh, do they?
Like quite a bit.
Yeah, they talk quite a bit, and in the book their interactions are fucking funny. Like just two know-it-alls.
Call doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, two know-it-alls just telling each other how much they're smarter than each other.
Yeah,
and it's fucking funny. But yeah, the Infinite is fucking hilarious in there.
Trazen cracks me up, man.
He is comic relief, and he's just really funny, and he's just
he wants to get involved.
He wants to get involved.
What else is there in the Warhammer world? Oh, right after this comes out will be LVO 2024,
Las Vegas Open.
The Las Vegas Open. I don't really give a fuck about the tournament. No offense, but I don't care. More importantly, what's happening there is going to be the first big preview of the year from Warhammer. Mm-hmm. Which is going to be kind of...
What are your bets?
What are my bets? I think they're going to unredact that codex that we're getting towards the end of the year, or towards the middle of the year. I think it's going to be Emperor's Children. I think that's what they're going to announce. It's going to be that redacted codex is the Chaos Space Marine Codex. And I think there's going to be Emperor's Children on the cover. And I think that's going to announce that we're getting
Emperor's Children.
An Emperor's Children army. That's my bet. But they're doing huge updates on or previews on Warhammer 40K.
Yep.
The new Kill Team season.
Heresy.
Horus Heresy. Age of Sigmar is getting an update.
Warcry, whoever plays that.
For the 5 people that play Warcry, they're getting
Blood
an update. And then Necromunda has an update.
Are they going to push any more lore?
Yes.
Any lore updates?
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to see another big lore update. So 2 weeks after this show publishes, The End of the Death Part 3 comes out. It comes out on January 27th. The 3rd book is coming. It's going to wrap that story.
Oh, you didn't know they're going to add another book, I heard.
You son of a bitch. Don't you
No, they're not. That's the end. But
fucking better be.
Pay tune for part 4. Fuck you, Abnett.
So part 3 is supposed to wrap that up. Now, I am of the theory that we are going to learn something at the end of part 3 that is going to shift the 40K lore in a big way, because the 40K lore needs it done.
Yeah.
Because where the lore is at right now,
it's very
the
stagnant.
Leviathan lore is nothing more than a reprint of like 5th edition or whatever. It's Space Marines versus bugs. Yeah. That's what Leviathan is at. And it's like, oh, there's bugs around. But we're not really talking about the bugs. The lore is not doing anything, but it is like what the Lion's up to and what Bobby G's up to and da-da-da-da-da.
And they're also rehashing some of the stuff that we know about, like the Acadian Falls book came out.
So we're really updating some of that kind of stuff.
We are kind of getting a complete picture, because they did drop the ball on the Gilliman just showing up and being now.
Yeah, they had the campaign books, but they didn't have any Black Library books.
Yeah, it's 150 years, or whatever, however long the Dominus Crusade's been going on. So now we get the Lion, and
so the Lion's
we
back.
Gotta know.
And then I think we're gonna find some shit out in book 3 that we find out where certain other Primarchs go off to do fucking things.
Malkador's still on the throne.
I love this theory. I really do. It's my favorite theory right now. That
changes everything.
That the body on the throne is not actually the Emperor. That it allows him to kind of go fuck off and do what he needs to do for 10,000 years. And Malkador has been the one that's
just sucking.
That's because the Emperor essentially made Malkador a perpetual.
Yeah.
And I'm still, because spoilers, book 2, we know they stabilized the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when they start feeding it Psychers. They don't start feeding it Psychers when they put the Emperor on it to maintain the Emperor. They're feeding it Psychers and it stabilized it with Malkador on it. And then
they've still been doing that.
And then Vulcan kicks everybody out of the room and goes, do the final protocol. And then all of a sudden, they unlock the doors and everybody comes back in and they just start feeding Psychers to the throne. And for 10,000 years, they've never stopped.
Yeah.
So
this shit's working.
But
we've got it stabilized.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they're saying that they
no one fucking touch anything.
Yeah. But they're saying they have to keep doing it because if they don't and it falls, everything instantly breaks. So where do they do the swap?
Yeah.
So they take the mortally wounded Emperor and then
is it Indiana Jones like him weighing the thing?
How do they swap this out? Because we also know that essentially in the book they said if they pull Malkador off that throne, it's over. Like he dies instantly. So there's going to be like a lull period to get the Emperor hooked up.
Yeah, because it's not just a plug and play.
Yeah, it's not that he's just like they've got to hook him in.
Yeah.
And all the pictures we've ever seen is just this emaciated corpse.
Yeah, that's
plugged into a bunch of stuff. But we also know that the Emperor can essentially just heal. Like he just regenerates. Yeah. So he got hurt so bad he doesn't regenerate?
Yeah. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Although he can bring his own Primarchs back to life from across the fucking galaxy.
And he can also regenerate like just everyone in his general vicinity.
In that book, he just like
everybody's
does that bubble pop and healed everybody for the last however long. Yeah, so
I need guys.
Poof. It's set up to where we go like, holy fuck, he hasn't been the one on the throne. It's all been a lie.
Yeah, everything's been a lie. Where is the Emperor?
Which also explains why, the Alpha Legion is always like never really fallen and said that they only follow the true vision of the Emperor.
And that's why they don't care about the Imperium.
And every conversation that's ever happened with the Emperor while he's on the throne, when a son walks in, one of the Primarchs walks in or whatever, has always been this telepathic communication. He's never spoken. It's always been this thought transfer.
Yeah.
Well, he's the strongest psyker in the galaxy. You're telling me he couldn't
do it anywhere? Yeah.
Think into your brain from which he's done in multiple other occasions.
Yeah. He's got to pretend to be on the...
He possessed Gilliman when he brought him back from life and threw Mortarion through a tear in reality and wiped out half of Nurgle's garden.
Yeah, just yeeted him.
Like, so, and told Mortarion, I could save you, but it's not time yet.
Not yet, motherfucker.
I love the theory that it's been Malkador on the throne the whole time.
That's what it's going to be.
So, I mean, that makes 3 books dragging shit out that we know is going to happen. Makes it worth it.
Yeah. And then 40K. Now the question is,
maybe
40K.
It goes right into a 40K thing, like the last half of the book.
Dude, if they did a 10,000 year jump and just went right into 40K,
like,
I'd be so bad.
All this shit just happened, and now this is
here's
now
the new
something,
state. Here's the new state of 40K.
It would be a great epilogue where it'd be like the epilogue is like jumping to the modern time, and a new custodian gets put in because there's only a certain amount of custodians that can be in the throne room.
Yeah,
and they put them in. When they rotate him through, a new one gets in and his initiation is like, it's not the Emperor.
Yeah, we're going to tell you something.
Yeah.
It's not the Emperor. We don't know where he is, but we got to keep this shit going. And that's what you have to do.
Occasionally he talks in his sleep while he's up there, so he may hear some shit.
You're going to hear some weird stuff. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, I love the theory that it's Malkador. And it honestly, it gives them such a platform to bring a 40K lore forward instead of, because it's just been a slog. Nothing's happened in 40K. Like it's
happens,
for years.
It's just been stagnant. Like the story is just
they add new people, but then they don't really do anything.
Huh.
Or
they want to tell
the Lion. The Lion came in, great, hasn't done much.
Well, I mean, he's off finding his lost legion.
But you've got to.
The Risen.
You've got to. The only way that you got to. We need more books. Like what's the line doing and all that shit. But this would propel.
And we're going to, I think we are going to get more books after the end of the death. Because there's been no major thing. We got the Lion book. We got Son of the Forest.
It was good.
They've done the Dawn of Fire stuff.
They did the Dawn of Fire stuff. They did Shadow Behind the Throne.
Yeah.
Which also set up the whole like, there's some shit going on with the Imperial throne that nobody's talking about, and it's like,
yeah, I mean, in the Yellow King, Constantine Valador, being,
like there's
Dan Abnett's been writing,
so there's like the primer's kind of there, So I'm interested to see where.
Of course, they could just be like,
they could also just be like, yeah, we fleshed out the story. You knew it's still him. He's still the Corpse King, and
and
basically,
and
that's it. And by the way, there's still bugs.
Yeah, Malcadors. They sweeped him up into a dustbin.
Now I'm hoping like when we did that tarot card thing before Leviathan released, trying to like sneak preview, and one of them was the tarot card for the Tree of Life.
Yeah,
which is the shrub that the Lehman went into the warp to try and go find. He found like 20 of his dudes and was like, "Bring the beer. We're going to do some weird shit." Yeah. So they went up to go find the shrub. So we could see him come back. And
maybe that's what he's doing with the Emperor.
Yeah. He could also be chilling with the Emperor off finding the bush.
Lehman Russ's thing could have been to go find the Emperor.
Yeah. Also,
he could have been like that. That's his thing, was like he gets a vision from the Emperor, be like, yeah, I'm not actually on the throne. I'm stuck somewhere.
Or a bunch of them get visions.
Yeah.
Whether all the different Primax.
Yeah. And that's where the sons went, was to go
and
get
then
him.
they just like, oh, we need to go find Dad.
Yeah.
Dad's in trouble. We got to go find Dad.
Yep.
And we got to go. We'll be back.
Well, he'd be right if he did it.
Yeah, because the one thing we know.
I had to work it in.
Is what? What do we know?
Russ is always right.
There you go.
Right.
All right, kids.
I'll let you have the first. I'll let you have the first one of the year.
That was a good one. That was you threw me a softball.
I was trying for you, buddy. I was teeing it up.
I didn't know.
I was teeing it up.
It wasn't much.
Anyways, games, drinks, and hijinks. Here's to a fucking great 2024, boys.
Cheers, yeah.
I appreciate every single one of you. Let's see what kind of weirdness goes on, and we'll figure out in a couple weeks just how wrong we are about this, about all of our 40K theories.
Fuck.
Go watch Rebel Moon. Go look up Second Pitch Beer Company.
Please do.
Follow all of their stuff. If you're local, go to their tap room and give him lots and lots of money. And
I like money.
When you've gotten all liquored up, come over to BattlePub and buy all the plastic that you need. So,
have you? Okay, wait. Before we go, has someone recognized you in public from this podcast yet?
No.
Okay, so that's happened to me like 4 times. It's really weird. Yeah. So good luck. If you hang around, it's gonna happen to you.
I've had people that have,
no. So I mean, I'm not here a lot.
Yeah. I've had people that have come in and literally gone like, "Well, you're on the podcast," and then like you've been here, and they've recognized him. They're like, "Is Big Jim here too?" And I'm like, "No, he's not. He's not here. He shows up for an hour and then he gives me the finger and he leaves."
Yeah, but yeah, people. I'd be talking, and then people all of a sudden just like perk up and turn and look at me and be like, "Are you Beer Jim?" And I was like, "You are a weirdo."
I am fucking Beer Jim.
I am Beer Jim.
Give me money.
I am Beer Jim.
Spartacus.
Why are you drinking water?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, tell us your theories about the end of the Death Part 3. I'd love to hear those theories before the book comes out. Go watch Rebel Moon and then throw that in the comments. I want to know.
Better not be like, "Oh, I was right." I don't want to hear shit because I read it. You guys listen to this shit.
Well, I got shit to do. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
So the prompt for this week's episode is going to be literally tell me what you thought of Rebel Moon. So I want to hear what the fan base has to say about it. So, anyways, go off and do good things. Jim, hit him with it.
Bye.